Hello, so today I want to tell you about 5 more pieces of tech that improve my life. The first 5 are in the video I linked to at the end, in the description and in the pinned comment, so you've no excuse for not watching it. So I'm halfway through my true real life narrative of what happened to me over the last 14 years and how the tech slotted into those periods, and of course how it improved my life. So I'll give you some other examples of how they can improve your life too. So we move up to about 4 or 5 years ago, and by now I was actually making videos for YouTube, mainly to increase my own knowledge, but partly because there is a whole world of difference to teaching a bunch of lively 10-year-olds to literally not speaking to a single person all day, other than my family, of course. And I didn't like that. I wanted to be able to communicate with people. Now, making videos needs a decent computer. Initially, I used an iMac, but eventually I opted for a Mac Mini, which is my next piece of tech. Very small and neat, yet powerful enough to run Final Cut Pro and giving you the ability to choose your own keyboard and monitor. Now, the reason that's important if you're a video editor is because it's much easier when you can actually see more of the timeline. So I wanted a very wide monitor, and that's the setup I still have today. I didn't go for that straight away. That was like a progression as I made more and more videos. So anyone wanting the power of an iMac but preferring to choose their own keyboard, mouse and monitor will find the Mac Mini brilliant value with ample computing power. So on to number 2. So more time went by, and at this point I was running 2 small businesses, working in one of them and on the other one, whilst also building up the plants collection, what you can see here, and of course making YouTube videos. As with the businesses, it occurred to me that I had a lot to learn about the whole process of video creation. That is, if I ever actually wanted it to go somewhere. I'm still learning about this stuff. So as part of the idea generation step of the video making process, I realised that typing into a computer doesn't always give me the same inspiration as physically writing something out. I actually like to do both at different stages of creation, as I read somewhere that each stimulates a different part of the brain, and that's what I find. So I bought myself a digital writing tablet. This is a gadget specifically designed for physical writing, but with some of the more useful functionality that you can't get from a notepad and pen. So this thing enabled me to create ideas and begin writing bullet points, notes, scripts, etc. Now, if you sometimes prefer to physically write something, then this might be something to consider. There are plenty of people out there who use these for everything from journaling to to-do lists, idea creation, things to do with work, even reading and highlighting documents. It also has the ability to change handwriting text into a digital text, something that I know many people love. So on to number 3. Now, if you're a regular of this channel, you'll know that during this last period of 10-14 years I've had several major health issues, most of which put me out of action for considerable lengths of time. Now, all my life previously and through that period I've enjoyed keeping fit and been interested in how to do it properly and of course more effectively and efficiently. So just over a year ago, following my 3rd major abdominal surgery, I embarked on yet another steep climb back to fitness, and as a result of a podcast I've been listening to, I came across an excellent book about health and longevity. I'll talk more about that book in another video, but this in turn led me to one area I'd often neglected, and that is heart health, otherwise known as cardio. Now, I've always avoided cardio as I've never found anything that I actually enjoyed and could stick to, and that's really vital with anything to do with fitness. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. I found that with the right app positioned in front of me on an iPadPro, I could actually cycle all around the world. Yeah, it's true. So this app that I'm talking about is the JRNY app, JRNY, that's its name, and it actually connects to my stationary spin bike, which I have in the garage, via Bluetooth, and it enables me to take tailored progressive workouts while riding in any place I choose. It's absolute genius. The only thing in 40 years that's kept me coming back for more. There are loads of cycling apps out there, honestly, and they're all slightly different to suit different tastes. Some people like digital whirls, some people like spin classes with a personal trainer to lead them, but for me, I like riding through Rome or Barcelona or Prague or wherever I like without the possibility of being run over by a 10-ton juggernaut. It really has been a game changer for me. So next up is a progression on learning and self-help. I still listen to the podcasts, especially during the main season. During the off season, I listen to them when I'm out walking fudge. I still watch videos, I read books, but I've often wondered how to fit all these books into the day. I've also found that there is a kind of transient effect with many self-help books, and even if you highlight like a demon, you'll forget it all again after a week or two. Well, I do anyway. But there were still some classic self-help books out there like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Heard loads about it. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, I've tried that a few times, or Atomic Habits, this is a recent one by James Clear. How could I find time to read all these when at night time I prefer to switch off before bed with some historical fiction? Well, it was actually only quite recently I found the answer. Another fellow Brit and massively successful YouTuber and entrepreneur, Ali Abdaal, gave it to me. There are apps out there that actually give you 15 to 30 minute summaries of all the best bits from the non-fiction books. Yeah, honestly. He recommended one called Short Form, but it's well outside my price range, unfortunately. So instead I found one called Blinkist, and it's been absolutely brilliant. Total game changer. So you know all the times when you sit at home scrolling through social media, or worse still, reading the news, both can be equally depressing and give you nothing in terms of a net gain. Now, I actually find myself instinctively going to Blinkist instead. So not only am I reducing the continual feed of depressing crap, but I'm replacing it with knowledge and insights. It's pure genius. And as a side benefit, and I don't know how true this is, I don't know whether this is a direct cause, but anyway, I've noticed my general mood has improved. And I've also noticed that my sleep has improved too. Now, could it be coincidence, or could it be that my mind, which I believe anybody's mind works on problems while you sleep, is not continually trying to solve the world's problems? Just a theory? Who knows? But it's there. Which brings me to my final bit of tech to change my life. So this is an odd one, to be honest. Completely unlike the others because it's nothing to do with productivity, learning or work. And to be truthful, I've been on this planet for 55 years and this was still a huge surprise of the worst kind to me. So we live in a cold place for many months of the year, and unless you've been living under a rock, you'll be aware of how expensive gas and electricity have become over the last few years. So to cut a long story short, we as a family have reduced our use of central heating in the house, especially those rooms that don't get a whole lot of daily use, like utility rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, the upstairs rooms, etc. Inevitably, in a cold, damp environment like the north of England, this leads to at least some mould dotted around the place, especially near the windows. Now, I've seen mould in many houses, but our house only had a small amount. Nothing to be too worried about, and every so often I clean it off with a spray of mould and mildew remover. Job done. But have you ever heard of mould mites? I've had spider mites in here, I've had tarsonomid mites, I've had all sorts of horrible little bugs. Mole mites, never heard of them. Because if I had, I would have been doubly certain to keep on top of the mould. Well, you guessed it, the worst happened. We got a huge infestation of mole mites in a cupboard in the utility room. And one of the worst things about these mold-eating mites is that unless you're very, very young and get your face right up to them in good light, you won't even know they're there. Think about spider mites, that's the size of them. Unfortunately, we missed them for several weeks until they were totally out of control and on and in everything in the utility room, including the fridge. Yeah. We kept seeing what looked like sawdust on the units. Well, yeah, that's the dead bodies of literally thousands of mites. So a full 6 weeks later and a brand new fridge freezer, it's been an expensive and fairly stressful time, honestly. The mites can live up to 30 days, even when you've removed the food source. So what's the tech I'm advocating? It's a dehumidifier. Absolute game changer for us, cheaper than using central heating all the time, does a great job of removing the humidity that enables the mold to grow. And as a side benefit, it can also dry clothes more cheaply than a tumble dryer. So to bring it full circle back to the greenhouse, it can even lower the humidity in here for the coldest and wettest months of the year. It's surprising how many tropical plants will actually take some cold if they are bone dry. It's the wet, a combination of wet and cold, that kills them off. So if any of those gadgets interest you or were new to you, then please tell me about it in the comments. There are links in the description to all of those that I've purchased, and of course their affiliate links if you would like to help me to continue with the channel. Please use them, it won't cost you anything. So don't forget to watch the first video, which I'll put up there. I'll link it in the description, and I'll also link in the pinned comment for the first 5 pieces of tech that changed my life. But for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.